I cannot stress this to you enough. This is so important. If God closes a door in your life, do not open that door back up. No matter how bad you want what is on the other side of that door, don't open it back up, because if God closes that door, it needs to stay shut. This will hurt you. It will only hurt you to open that door up and get back what He closed. That could be a relationship, that could be a job, it could be an idea or a goal that you had. If it is not good for you, God will close the doors sometimes without us even asking, because He can see way down the road what the consequences are going to be. And it's just like us with our kids. If we see something happening down the road and we know our kid's on that path, we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it because we don't want them to get hurt. We love them so much. We don't want them to stay on that path of destruction. So no matter how bad you want that relationship or that job or those friends or to move to that place or whatever your situation is, if God closes it, leave it closed. It's only going to hurt you if you pursue that. It could even be a physical harm. It could be an emotional or a mental harm, but it's going to hurt you if you go after what God closes. And some people may say, well, how do I know if it's God closing it or if it's just a test to see if I'll keep pursuing it? You will hear me say this more than anything else I will ever tell you, and that is to pray to God about it. Praying is the answer to everything in your life. That's how you get every single answer in your life. And trust me, I know a whole lot about that, and I know that sometimes you just don't feel like you're ready to let it go. But like if you pray for God to take something from you, if it's not for you, take it from you, be prepared. Because most of the time, if you're to that point, you know it needs to be taken, and God will take it. But sometimes He doesn't wait for us to ask. If it's going to hurt us that much, sometimes God will do it. God will close that door. But let me tell you something that is 100% for a 100% absolute fact. Whatever God closes from you, He will replace with exactly what you need. And some of you may say, well, I don't want what I need right now. I want what I want. I want the consequences. I want to just take whatever it is that comes with that because I want it so bad. You've got to get past that point. You will only hurt yourself. Truly, you will only hurt yourself. And what God is replacing it with, He will replace it. He will. If you put your trust in Him, if you let Him, God will replace it with something you didn't even know that you really wanted. It will be exactly what you want, but you won't know it till you get it. And that's where your faith and trust in God have to come in. You have to work on that, because Satan's going to work against it. So you have to push through that. And that's work. You have to work for God. You have to work. And what I mean by that, you have to work for your relationship. You have to work to make that relationship with God survive. You have to feed it and nourish it, just like you do any other relationship. God's right there. He's right there, but He wants us to meet Him. He wants us to trust Him and believe in Him and have faith in Him and follow Him, obey Him. And some people may say that that's too strict. I don't want that. If you've been on the side where you don't have God and you have the worldly things that you want, I guarantee you, if you haven't reached it yet, you will. You will never be fully satisfied. And you will always be looking for something more. That next upgrade, whatever it is, you'll never be happy because your heart is not searching for God. When you have God in your heart, you're not going to be focused on having the worldly things. It's not going to matter when God is in your heart. So when you have God in your heart, you need to let Him lead you. I've said this before too, but I heard a preacher on my radio station say, you'll have as much of God as you want. God's not going to force Himself on you. If you want God in your life, you're going to have to pull Him into it. He's right there. He's waiting for you to reach out. And when you reach out and get blessings, heavenly blessings from God, they will be more wonderful than any worldly thing that you could ever receive. If you have had God's blessings, you know what I mean. If you haven't had them yet, don't turn your back. Don't keep turning your back to God, because and chances are you'll know by the feeling you get. If God has closed a door to you, you'll know that feeling because it'll give you an uneasy feeling. If it's from God, It will bless you. It will give you peace and calm. If it's not from God, it's going to stir your heart. It's going to stir it up in a bad way. Stir it up. You're going to feel anxious all the time. You're going to, like, if it's a relationship that's not good for you, you're not going to be ever fully satisfied and feel fully loved. You're constantly going to be anxious about it. And if that is you in your relationship, I know I've been there. You've got to let God close that door. And a lot of times he's standing there with us. Our hands on the door, trying to pull, and God's hands there ready to shut when we give him permission. And as soon as he shuts that, he begins the healing process. And then he brings you something that's so wonderful. But you have got to trust God. You have got to have faith. It's not going to come easy. It's not just going to fall in your lap. You have to have the faith and the trust. You can't just live the way that you want in whatever sin you want and expect God to just lavish you with blessings. He won't. He wants to heal you from your sin, wants to heal you from the decisions that you've made, wants to heal you from past hurt, even if it's not by your hand. He wants to heal you and bring you all those blessings, and he will, but you've got to let him. You've got to trust me on this one because I am trusting God. I know I've been there. So when I tell you the answer to happiness is trusting God, believing in God, and praying, and believing that he will answer your prayer, sometimes God's answer is a no, but he always answers, and it's always in our best way. So you've got to put your faith in God, and you've got to let that thing behind that door go. Don't keep picking it up. Don't keep picking it up. Don't keep going back.